Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to Strongman Personal Finance. It is February 12th, 2026 at 8:29 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we got a ton of news, delicious news to cover in the stock market. We're going to cover the earnings of Cisco, which is down today. We're going to cover the earnings of McDonald's, a top tier premium American company that basically represents America, McDonald's. And we're going to cover the earnings of AppLovin, as well as all the news that has gone on since yesterday. Buckle up, people. Welcome back. And if you'd like to support the channel, consider joining as a member so I can read your comments. And also consider sending me big, fat, delicious tips. Your tips help me pay my massive child support and alimony payments. See the pinned comment. All right, let's see what's going on in the stunk market and the pre-market. Okay, what do we have here? We got some interesting moves going on. We got small caps, the Russell 2000, up 0.71% in the pre-market, trading at this ETF's trading at 266. So we're basically at all-time highs for the Russell 2000. We got China down to 0.86%. It's been trading sideways ever since September 2025. Can we get more vertical lines, please, China? Thank you. We got the total U.S. market, S&P, mid caps, small caps, up 0.32%. We got the S&P 500 up 0.3%. We got VT, 85% of my portfolio, probably getting bigger now, up 0.52%. I'm not sure how accurate that is because the numbers don't really add up. I would say it's probably up 0.035% in the pre-market. But hey, who's complaining? It's up. The triple Qs up 0.28%, pretty close to all-time highs. The XUS just continuing to run like an absolute Chad. This is the total international, up 0.39%. And unfortunately for Shadashills, SCHD, it's flat in the pre-market. So it looks like we're going to be green, at least at the beginning of the day. We'll see what changes. Crypto. What's going on with crypto? My favorite asset class of all time. We got MicroStrategy after getting absolutely annihilated ever since July 2025. It's just been going down and to the right. Up 1% of the pre-market, trading at $127.45. That's about $127.44 too high. We got Bitmine Immersion up 2%. This is an Ethereum treasury company managed by Tom Lee, our YouTube hero. We got Ethereum still unable to break 2,000 per coin, trading at 1,984. Solana up 1.15%, trading at 81.18 a coin. Even Trump coin is in the green, people. This is a rare event. Trump coin in the green. Hold on. Can I close this? Get this out of here. Get out of here. I'm not buying anything. Remove order book. Hold on. Can I just see the screen? There we go. I want a big, delicious screen. All right. Trump coin up 1.23%. XRP up. Stockmo, I'm sure he's shilling it to the moon how amazing he is. XRP's up after getting absolutely clapped over the last couple of months. Dogecoin's up and Cardano is up. So we got green in the stock market and we got green in the crypto market. How exciting. Let's look at large tech individually. So we got Netflix down ever so slightly. Netflix has really been selling off, man. Netflix down 0.44%, trading at $79.24 in the pre-market, down from all-time highs of $132.31. Almost cut in half, maybe down 40%. We got Google McDougal up 0.4%, trading at $312.67 in the pre-market. We're about $20 from all-time highs. Microsoft flirting with the 300s. It's up slightly in the pre-market, but it's been flirting with the 300s. Worst company in the world. Amazon slightly green in the pre-market after getting collapsed after their recent earnings and CapEx guide. Meta, my Jetta, up 0.43%, trading at $671.55 in the pre-market. You know, Bill Ackman and Joseph Carlson bought Meta. I've never heard of that company before. Maybe I should make a video about it. All right, we got Apple down about 0.75%, trading at 273.50. Tesla's up, of course, because why not? About 0.5%. And then NVIDIA trading at 192.15 in the pre-market, up 1.11%. All right, so mostly green with the big tech names. The YouTuber stocks. What's going on with the YouTuber stocks? This is my favorite page. Unity, after reporting earnings that led to the stock utterly collapsing. They just can't make a profit. I don't know. I mean, is it really that hard? Unity's down slightly, trading at 21.27. Duolingo. Oh, Joseph Carlson, he's up a little bit. Duolingo's up 1% in the pre-market. Even Fubo. Jeremy LaFufu's Fubo up 0.72%. Robinhood up 1%. Dave starting to get a little bit of a rally here, up 1%, trading at 171.22. It's been chopping sideways since May 2025. You know, hey, if you got in down here, if you got into the beginning of 2025, you made some money, but ever since then, it's just chopped sideways. Reddit up slightly. Any major red here? We got Rigetti. This is Quantum down a little bit. High Tide down about 2%. And Grab these, you know what's, up very slightly. For earnings, Grab reported earnings yesterday. Dutch Bros reports earnings today. When's the earnings release? We may have to cover Dutch Bros. We can do that tonight. And we know that Unity reported earnings. All right, what's going on in the bonds section? So I updated this a little bit. So I have TLT. This is long-term bonds. VGIT. This is intermediate-term treasuries. And V-bill short-term treasuries. So we got VGIT up 0.13% in the pre-market. So we got yields coming down ever so slightly. And Gill making an absolute vertical line fortune. TLT up 0.57%. Man, am I a genius for buying long-term or intermediate-term bonds? Maybe I'm a genius. I mean, you've seen yields have been coming down pretty consistently, at least in the short and intermediate term. Commodities. Okay, we got oil down about 1.15%. GLD down very slightly. Gold still at all-time highs or very close to it. And silver down about 2%, but it's had a decent rally ever since it dropped about 30%. The sectors. What's going on in the stock market sectors? The big winner this morning is utilities. Utilities are just running, baby. Every day I look, utilities are up like 1%. Utilities up 1.36%. Not the worst investment in the world. I mean, I could think of worse. Industrials up almost 2%. Okay. Industrials, utilities. What happened to tech? I thought tech was the future, bro. We got the energy ETF up 0.25%. And the big loser today is consumer staples after a monster rally starting at the beginning of 2026. You can see the rotation here. Just vertical line in consumer staples. A little bit of a vertical line in utilities. Energy vertical line, probably some tensions with Iran. And then you see tech just kind of trading sideways for the past couple of months, but no catastrophic destruction here. But if you've been buying tech recently, bro, ever since my birthday, basically, you have not made that much money. Oh, even real estate's up. Wow. Even real estate's up 1.27%. I like it. Okay. Mostly green in the sectors, except for consumer staples, slightly selling off. All right, Gill. We already saw Gill. He's got TLT. He's a genius. Wow, 0.6%. The chip stocks. We got Micron just continuing to rally nonstop, up 4.17%. We got AMD up 1%. Everything's green for the chips. Wonderful. I see green every day. Healthcare. Humana released their earnings. I guess they weren't that good. What is happening to this poor company? Just utter annihilation. Humana up slightly in the pre-market. Everything's green in the pre-market for healthcare except United Health, which is down very slightly, basically flat. Let's see. Payment processors. PayPal down a little bit. Just horrible chart there. And MasterCard and Visa slightly green. All right, the stocks we're going to talk about today in the earnings. Let me add AppLovin here real quick. I'm loving the app, bro. So we got AppLovin down 7.73%. They released their earnings yesterday. They actually beat on earnings per share. I wonder why the stock's down. What could it be? Cisco. They actually beat earnings per share as well, but the stock's down 6.63%. And McDonald's up 1.61%. They had their earnings yesterday as well. Just earnings every day. All right, this is the subscriber requested stocks, ETFs, or cryptos. If you want me to add your ticker to this list, you're going to have to pay me $5. You send me $5 through Venmo or a super chat, and I add your favorite stock, ETF, or crypto, and we check it every morning and every night. Send me money. Thank you. So this list is growing ever so rapidly. I've already grifted $30 off of you dopes. We got ITOT, the iShares Core S&P Total U.S. Market ETF. This is VTI, but iShares version of it. Okay, yeah, doing well, up 0.88%. Okay. We got SCHK, the Schwab 1000 ETF. I believe this is the biggest 1,000 stocks in the U.S. market, I think. That's up 0.75%. Zone, my favorite, a Dogecoin treasury company. You know you really made it in life when your company becomes a Dogecoin treasury. Up 0.78%. Pepe Coin, Pepe the Frog, up almost 3%. And Corning, just absolutely insane chart here. Just absolutely insane. Up 1%. All right. XLE down ever so slightly. Not a big deal. If something happens with Iran, man, I don't know. Maybe this might go vertical even more. And then finally, my portfolio. VT now up. I hope this is accurate. Up 0.55% in the pre-market, trading at 148.79. Are we going to break 150 in VT? Are we going to break 150 in VT? We'll see. So we got VT up. We got V-Bill, which is short-term treasuries, flat. Strong, man. Your treasuries never go up, bro. And then we have my intermediate-term treasuries now up 0.1%. So I'm in the green. Woo! Daddy. Woo! Wonderful. So green, basically green for everybody, unless you're a AppLovin or Cisco shill. Not a bad start to the morning, people. All right, let's go ahead and do some member-only comments, and then we are going to check out the news and the earnings. First, good morning, good sir. TLT, bro. Bad economy, bro. Watch and learn, bro. You ain't seen what's coming, bro. Buy TLT, bro. It's so easy, bro. Ryu, what's up, Why So Bluetooth? McDonald's is super expensive now for the kind of slop it sells. I would not be surprised if their revenue is down. I can't eat McDonald's. It's so greasy. It's so gross. One McDonald's hash brown is $3.89 in LA. Really? That's crazy, man. Yeah, I took my kids once there, and I felt like the worst parent in the world. Never again. DH says he eats at McD's 5 to 7 times a week, and it isn't a disgusting... Oh, he's definitely an AmeriFat, dude. If you're going to McDonald's 5 to 7 times a week, you are an AmeriFat. I'm just being honest here. LaFufu just sold a bunch of meta per his latest video. What a genius. I don't think I've had McDonald's in almost a year. When I did, I didn't pay for it. Yeah. No, I do Chick-fil-A and I do Chipotle. And recently I've just been cooking at home. And I think it's actually better. I can cook. Daddy knows how to cook. Daddy knows how to cook. Who is GH? Oh, that's that clown. You'll see him. He's in the comments all the time. He got a free membership, so I have to deal with his nonsense for a month. That dude, Mr. DH, has a number after the initial. Always trash is strong, man. He's a member. That loser. Yeah, he'll be gone soon. Don't worry. That guy sounds like the majority of my generation. Groomers and doomers. Waited for the market crush since 2000 just because they lost a lot back in the 2000s and now rooting for a crush. I mean, I'm rooting for a crash just because I want grifters to get annihilated. I don't want you guys to get annihilated. I want grifters to get annihilated. TLT is up, bro. I saw, Gil, you're in the green this morning. Congratulations. Greystone, I woke up a bit late today, about to hit the shower, bro. Oh, Gil's taking a shower. He's going to cover himself in soap. Woke up at 5 a.m. Why you get up at 5 a.m., dude? Just get good sleep. Good sleep is important, okay? I've been waking up earlier for some reason. I think I'm a little sick from my kids. My kids were sick, and then now I'm freaking sick. So I've been waking up early, but I usually try to wake up at like 7:45. That gives me enough time to set this up. TLT breaking 89 will be a great sign. I'm truly disappointed. I seriously thought you were a smart man. How dare you, Gil? How are you, strong man? Everything going well? Yep, I'm working on tax returns, including one of the returns you might be involved in as well. Oh, yeah. I'm a busy boy. Any new tax clients? Oh, yeah. It's starting to pick up. It's getting crazy, baby. I'm not doing the daily clown report today. I got stuff to do. I got taxes to do. Get zinc and vitamin C. Yeah, and I'm going to Food Lion after this. I'm getting some cold medicine. I knew I was going to get sick from the kids. I knew it. My son was sick. Then my daughter was sick. Now I'm freaking sick. I get up at 4 a.m. I got to sleep by 9 p.m. Ready to rock. Okay, I mean that makes more sense. That's right. Boy. All right, let's go ahead and see what's going on. So first we'll cover the news. So we're gonna talk about some geopolitical news and some stock market news. What's going on? U.S., Israel, Iran escalation. President Trump met with the Israeli prime minister, hinting at a midnight hammer action if the Iran deal negotiations fail. Oil. Buy oil, bro. European autonomy dates. EU leaders gather to discuss decoupling from U.S. economic policies following tariff threats. Yeah, we'll see what happens with that. President Trump backs down on threats to Greenland after European solidarity, pursuing a framework of talks. I mean, the United States could easily defeat Europe in an armed conflict, but I don't think he wants a war with Europe, okay? That would be very stupid. Okay? Venezuelan oil, old news. Bangladesh election, who cares? Let's see. Gold conflict. Okay. Ukraine Olympic dispute. Canada mass deletion event. Oh, yeah. There was a very disturbed individual that committed this, but we can't talk about it because that's not diverse. Go look up who did it, people. All right, so, I mean, not a lot of crazy stuff. The typical crap. Europe's pissed at Trump's tariffs. Israel, Iran drama. Greenland, Trump whiff-waffling back and forth. All right, stock market. More entertaining here. Cisco Systems plunge. The stock falls after disappointing guidance and rising memory chip cost concerns. We'll check out the earnings in a little bit. Siemens, my favorite name for a company. AI boost. Shares up 7% on strong AI demand. Okay. AppLovin revenue beat. The stock surges after beating quarterly revenue estimates. Hold on a minute, people. It's down 7.69%. What are you talking about, Google AI? Are you lying to me? Equinix AI growth. SoftBank's AI profit. SoftBank reports $4.2 billion in gains from OpenAI investment. Okay, well, that ain't coming from OpenAI profits, I can tell you that. Baxter stock, never heard of it. Magnum ice cream. All-time high margin debt. U.S. margin debt hits $1.23 trillion, signaling high risk. Can we stop with the margin, people? Stop being clowns, okay? Dollar cost average, buy and hold. Gold reclaims 5K. Yeah, it's basically at all-time highs again. Mercedes disappoints. They had some crappy earnings, apparently. Mag 7 dominance. I've never heard of that. And semiconductor rally. Okay. Top 20 trending economics news. January non-farm payrolls rose by 130,000, beating expectations, but sparking implausible job number debate. Well, if you go look at rate cut expectations, they actually went vertical, saying that they weren't going to cut rates. This basically is almost like a prediction of what rate cuts are going to be for the next FOMC meeting. And you saw after the strong jobs number that the likelihood that they're going to cut rates dropped down to 5.9%. I mean, if the stock market's doing well, jobs are doing well, the economy's humming along, you don't need rate cuts. Okay, even though Trump's complaining about it. We'll see what happens. All right, so we had a decent jobs report. Let's see. Markets price in a 93.6% chance of a 25 basis point rate cut in June. Is that true? Hold on a minute. All right. Well, according to this, there's a 39.5% chance that rates will still be where they are right now. So I don't know how accurate that is. Record U.S. layoffs, strong GDP growth. U.S. Q3 GDP confirmed at 4.4%. Trump tax credit shift. Expiration of green energy tax credits raises costs. Yeah, if you didn't get in on the green energy stuff in 2025, you're kind of cooked on that. Okay, it says U.S. dollar weakness. Dollar index hit its lowest point in 4 years. Well, if you go look at the DXY, okay, it's down 0.11%. In the past 5 years, it's up 7%. And in the past 10 years, it's up 1.37%. The dollar is not collapsing, people. Okay? Not yet, at least. It's a meme. All right. So that's kind of the breaking news. Let's go see what's on the earnings deck today. We got Anheuser-Busch reporting this morning. British American Tobacco, BTI, they're reporting today. Vertex Pharmaceuticals, Airbnb reports. Maybe we can check them out this afternoon. Coinbase. Oh, we're definitely covering Coinbase, baby. Coinbase reports tonight. Let's see. Anything interesting here? No, nothing I recognize. Rivian tonight. Twilio. Toast. Okay. DraftKings. Well, we got a lot. Pinterest. Woo. Roku. I might be busy tonight. I mean, I got to get my kids, so I can't stay too long. Dutch Bros. A lot of companies reporting today. Crazy, actually. Frog stock. Holy God, there's 22 pages of this. All right, I'm going to have to pick something. I'm going to have to pick like 3 or 4 of them. All right, let's see what's up with Donald Trump, our American hero. What has he been posting on Truth Social? We need the drama. We need the stressing of the liberals. Pentagon prepares second aircraft carrier to deploy to the Middle East. Uh-oh. Rising tensions with Iran. First Lady charms patients. Boring. Okay. Posting about the stock market, posting about housing. Trump delivers again as TrumpRx.gov brings immediate drug price relief to millions. I might go check this out later. See what maybe I can get PP pills for cheap. All right. Canada has taken advantage of the United States on trade for many years. They are amongst the worst in the world to deal with, especially as it relates to our northern border. Tariffs make it a win for us. Easy. Republicans must keep it that way. President Donald J. Trump. Is he concerned about losing his tariffing authority? What happens if the Democrats win the House and the Senate? There's going to be some drama. Any Republican in the House or Senate that votes against tariffs will seriously suffer the consequences come election time. And that includes primaries, direct threat. Our trade deficit has been reduced by 78%. Is that true? Is that true? The Dow Jones has just hit 50,000. That's a weird index. And the S&P 7,000. All numbers that were considered impossible just 1 year ago. In addition, it's impossible the Dow hit 50,000. Never could have imagined that. In addition, tariffs have been giving us great national security because the mere mention of the word has countries agreeing to our strongest wishes. I mean, that's partially true. Tariffs have given us economic and national security, and no Republican should be responsible for destroying this privilege. Well, you got midterms coming up in a few months, bucko. All right. Well, that's the Trump Truth Social post. Not a lot there. A little bit of threatening of Iran and threatening fellow Republicans over tariffs. All right. Like I said, we already checked this out. There's basically no chance that rates are going to get cut unless something drastically changes in the next 34 days. We saw the dollar selling off ever so slightly today versus other currencies. Nothing crazy. Treasury yields coming down, even on the long end. Wow, maybe Gil was right. Maybe Gil was right, guys. The 30-year down 4 basis points on the month. The 10-year down 2. But funny enough, the 3-year up 7 basis points. Interesting stuff. So Trump is complaining about rates, but I mean, they are slowly coming down. So if you're a TLT shill, you need to be watching this very closely. All right. Let's do McDonald's earnings. Actually, let me see if we have any member-only comments we can address, and then we will jump into the earnings. AVUV bigly, since I got a big position at 89 back in January. Is that a small? Is that a value international? Same, but I sleep at 10 or 11. That's early, dude. The fact that Strongman has a bunch of money in bonds should scare you. If he felt the market isn't overvalued, he would be in VT. Well, it's also the fact that I'm self-employed and my income is drastically dropped, and the bonds are a cushion. But I don't feel stupid owning bonds at this time. I don't feel dumb owning bonds. I mean, whatever reason he makes up for being in bonds is a lie. Dude, I needed liquidity to go self-employed. There's no lie. There's no lie at all. Gil, anyone should have some fixed. And I'm 36. I'm 37 in September. Okay. Like, I'm not super young anymore. It's okay if I have some bonds in my portfolio, especially those who have their own business. Exactly. He knows a correction is due. I mean, if it happens, great. I'll buy. If not, okay, I'll be fine. Corrections are healthy in bear markets. I made most of my money during these events. I do want rates to come down massively. My intermediate term bonds will have some decent capital gains there, and then I will sell them. In the name of diversity, we should support the first orange president. Exactly. How could you not support diversity? What's wrong with you? Told you something was going down before the end of the week in the Middle East. Yeah, we'll see. We will see what happens. Smart man. Nobody knows nothing, Gil. Famous quote by the smartest man I've ever seen in my life. You may don't know who is Gil. Gil, it makes sense to be in bonds when you're using income from your investments. It's not a total return consideration. And it's not even an income thing. I'm not getting the bonds just for the income. I'm getting those short-term treasuries for the stability. Even if the market collapses, they're not going to move. So the stock market could drop 50% tomorrow. I have those short-term treasuries, and they're trading exactly where they were the day before. So I have that dry powder, number one. And number two, after tax season is over and my income massively drops, I've got a source of liquid funds that don't fluctuate wildly that I can pull money out of, including principal. I'm not just going to live off the interest. I can take down some principal, and then I can replenish it next tax season. It's like a bucket, it's a bucket. You put some water, when it rains, you fill it up. It's raining right now during tax season. And, when tax season's over and the rain clouds go away and it's scorching hot, I drink out of the bucket, right? I'm drinking out of the bucket. And then the rain clouds come again, fills up my bucket again. That's what I'm doing. That's all I'm doing here, people. With files being in the front page and Bondi getting railed at hearings, energy sector shot up. It's process of elimination. It's so I don't even care about the files. I'll be perfectly honest, people. I just don't care. If you sell off bonds, it's still income. Well, I mean, technically it's not. But yes, treasuries are good for stability, keeps you sleeping. Short-term treasuries are good for stability. Yes. Yes, I have zero concerns. What camera are you using? It's a Logitech. I forgot what it's called. It's I maybe paid $100-something for it. But yeah. All right. Let's go ahead and check out the earnings. Let's check out McDonald's. McDonald's, yeah. All right. Global comparable sales in the fourth quarter increased 5.7%. Not bad for a very mature business. With positive global comparable guest counts and strong comparable sales growth across all segments, global system-wide sales for the full year increased 7% to $139 billion. And across 70 loyalty markets, system-wide sales to loyalty members for the full year increased 20%. I do not have McDonald's loyalty. The only loyalty rewards I have is Chipotle. I wish Chick-fil-A had it. Maybe they do, and I just don't know about it. But yes, I do not have McDonald's loyalty. With 90-day active loyalty users up 19%. All right, so we'll look at the disaggregated sales numbers here. Fourth quarter financial performance. Globally, sales are up 5.7%. U.S. 6.8%. So it's very solid in America. Shockingly, America has the fastest revenue growth for McDonald's. I would never have imagined that. International revenue up 5.2%. And international developmental license markets up 4.5%. Okay, consolidated revenues increased 10%. System-wide sales increased 11%. Consolidated operating income increased 10%. That's good. That includes pre-tax charges of $80 million for restructuring. And excluding those current year charges, as well as prior year, consolidated operating income increased 13%. So if you exclude one-offs, operating income is up 13%. So decent revenue growth, very solid operating income growth. Diluted earnings per share was $3.03, an increase of 8%. Excluding charges, one-off charges, it would have been an increase of 10%. And they declared a 5% increase in its quarterly cash dividend. Wow, their earnings, their profits go up, and they're able to increase a dividend. It's almost like the profits or the dividends come from the profits. Okay, so they have the full year performance here. So I mean, they've actually accelerated their revenue growth and profit growth year over year in the most recent quarter. So whatever they're doing, it's freaking working. All right, let's see. All right, so we already saw the sales. Why did U.S. sales increase? Because Americans are fat. Comparable sales were driven by positive check and guest count growth, primarily from successful marketing promotions. Well, yeah, people are always complaining about how expensive fast food is, and they still go out and eat it. I can make my own food so cheap now, so much cheaper. Woo. When I go to Chick-fil-A, I spend $25 for me and my two kids, and then when I go to Chipotle, I spend about $20. McDonald's, I probably spend 25 or 30. Nearly all markets reflected positive comparable sales. All right, okay. Do they have a guide anywhere? Do we have a guide? Do we see the guide? All right. Well, here's their income statement. So franchise revenues increased 9%. Sales by company-owned and operated restaurants increased 10%. And other revenues increased 35%. Okay. Let's see. Operating costs grew 7%. Company-owned and operating restaurant expenses increased 9%. Let's see. Okay. So they're able to grow revenue decently without a huge explosion in expenses. Revenues grew 10% and operating costs grew 9%. Okay. Pretty solid. Where is the guide? I need guidance, McMarafat. All right, cash flows from operations for the full year 2025 was $10.5 billion, which is an increase year over year of 11%. Very solid. Okay, a little bit of an increase in capital expenditures. They spent about $3.36 billion in capital expenditures versus $2.77 billion the prior year, but nothing crazy. Okay. All right. Well, whatever they're doing, it seems to be working. What do they do for financing activities? They bought back. They spent $2 billion buying back stocks. They spent $5 billion paying dividends. That's funny. They pay. I guess people just love their dividends. I mean, they spent like what 2.5 times more on dividends than buybacks. Shouldn't it be the other way around, people? But yeah, I mean, they returned about $7 billion to shareholders. Not bad. All right, so McDonald's humming along ever so nicely. Cisco, my Crisco. Yeah, it's had an insane rally. I think this is finally recovered from the dot-com bubble. Yeah. Imagine. Could you imagine if the stock market sold off like this? Oh my God, that'd be freaking nuts. All right, so Cisco, I mean, they're down 6.77%, but they've had a massive monster rally. So it's not the end of Cisco, bro. News summary: double-digit top and bottom line growth, exceeding guidance. Wow. With EPS growing faster than revenue. Record revenue of $15.3 billion, up 10%. And GAAP earnings per share up 31%. GAAP gross margin of 65%. GAAP operating margin of 24.6%. Very profitable business. You know who has a higher operating margin, though? I do. I'm just messing around. Accelerating double-digit growth in product orders from all geographies. Product orders up 18%. Okay. AI infrastructure orders taken from hyperscalers total $2.1 billion, reflecting a significant acceleration in growth. Major multi-year, multi-billion-dollar campus networking refresh cycle underway. Okay, I guess that's going to cost some money. And then a dividend increased by 2%. That's the biggest news, bro. The dividend went up by 2%. Okay, so I mean, the earnings seem positive, like 10% revenue growth, 31% EPS growth, very solid gross margins, very solid operating margins. Whoa, must have been the guide, bro. All right. So we have the results here. Q3 guidance. Revenue between the range of $15.4 billion to $15.6 billion. How much is that year over year? This must have been the problem here, I guess, because they're guiding basically for flat revenue sequentially. So let me check and see how much of an increase that is year over year. Cisco. Yo mama is a Cisco. All right, let's go back. Where were we? All right, so Q3 2026, $15.6 billion on the high end. So Q3 2025, 15.6 divided by 14.14. All right, so they're guiding for 10% revenue growth. Okay. That's not horrible. And then earnings per share, GAAP 0.37 to 0.77. Last year, the EPS was 0.6. Okay, so decent, very solid growth projected for earnings per share. I don't know. I don't get it. Maybe the market was expecting more. And then for the full year, FY 2026 guidance, 61.2 million to 61.7 million, and GAAP EPS of 3 to 3.08. All right. Well, I guess the market wasn't happy with the guidance. I mean, the earnings seem positive. But what do I know? Who knows what these chicks at Wall Street want? It's never enough. All right. They increased their quarterly dividend, a 1 cent increase, up 2%. Oh, my God. Oh. All right, what's the highlights here? They're talking about just random stuff. Deferred revenue, $21.8 billion, up 2% in total, with deferred product revenue up 3% and deferred service revenue up 2%. That's not that great. I mean, if you see deferred revenue starting to go up massively, that's good. That means they're getting lots of orders. Capital allocation in the second quarter of fiscal year 2026, we returned $3 billion to stockholders through buybacks and dividends. You paid a dividend of 41 cents per common share and repurchased 18 million shares at an average price of $76.29. And the remaining authorized amount for stock buybacks is $10.8 billion with no termination date. In the second quarter, they closed the following acquisitions: Neural Fabric, a privately held enterprise AI platform company, and Easy Dubs. Is that a rap company? A privately held AI software company. Okay. Okay, I don't know. Let's see. Margin and EPS guidance includes the estimated impact of tariffs based on current trade policy. It's tariffs' fault, bro. Okay. So most of their sales growth for this quarter, year over year was in product. Services growth actually dropped. So their highest margin segment actually had a decline in sales growth. They get their margins on services is their gross margin, at least. Their gross margin for services is 68.38%, and their product margins are 63%. Oh, I mean, they're pretty solid product margins. But the services obviously have higher margins. All right, R&D spending up very slightly. Sales and marketing up slightly. General and admin down a little bit. Okay, so no crazy growth in expenses. I mean, a little bit of growth, but not catastrophic. They have operating income in this quarter of $3.78 billion. They received $210 million of interest income and spent $370 million of interest expense. So, I mean, they're spending roughly 10% of their operating income in interest payments, and then the interest income from their balance sheet offsets about 66% of the interest expense. So, they're maybe spending 4% of their operating income in net interest. So, not a big deal. Okay. Let's see. Revenue disaggregated. So year over year, America's revenue grew 8%. EMEA, is that Europe, Middle East, and Asia? Up 15%. These acronyms always confuse me. APJC up 8%. So the fastest growth was in EMEA. Let me look this up. EMEA acronym. Can we just spell it out, people? Europe, the Middle East, and Africa. That's what the A is, okay? I'm sure the sales in Africa are going crazy. So Europe and the Middle East are driving a lot of sales growth. And then APJC, Asia Pacific acronym. Not APAC. What is this? APJC acronym. Asia Pacific, Japan, and China. All right, so Europe driving a lot of sales growth. And Europe has the highest gross margin. They're paying a premium, man. Look at that. Go Europe. Go Middle East. Go Africa. All right, networking revenue up 21%, security revenue down 4%, collaboration up 6%, and total product revenue up 14%. And services revenue down 1%. Kind of lame there with services. Okay. Here's their balance sheet. I'm not concerned about their balance sheet. I mean, they got some debt, but as we saw, their interest expense really isn't that significant. Statement of cash flows. They actually had a decrease in operating cash flow. They had $1.8 billion of operating cash flow for this quarter, compared to $2.2 billion the prior quarter. The big difference was income taxes. So they had a cash outflow for income taxes. So that's why the operating cash flow dropped. If they paid the same amount in income taxes this quarter as last year's quarter, they would have had higher operating income. So it's more of a timing thing there. All right, let's see. Tiny acquisitions. They spent $39 million on acquisitions. So I guess those companies they bought were tiny. They spent about $283 million on acquisitions of property and equipment. Issued a little bit of common stock, but then they spent $1.3 billion buying it back. Shares repurchased for tax withholdings on vesting of restricted stock, and it's $784 million. Okay, they issued about $2.4 billion of net debt, and they borrowed about $510 million for short-term borrowings, dipping into their liquidity, their credit lines. And then they paid $1.6 billion in dividends. Okay. Nothing crazy here. The drop in operating cash flow we identified was mostly income taxes. All right. So I mean, it seems solid. I don't know. I guess the market's just not happy with their revenue guide. You never know. You never know. Imagine gambling on earnings. All right, then we got AppLovin here. So AppLovin is down 8%, even though the news said it was up. The news lied. All right, AppLovin, a leading marketing platform, today announced financial results for the full quarter ended December 31st, 2025. Okay, fourth quarter results. Revenue up 66% year over year. Net income up 84% year over year. Net income from continuing operations up 85%, and adjusted earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, and amortization up 82%. Insanely solid growth. Net cash from operating activities was $1.31 billion for the quarter, and free cash flow was $1.31 billion. Are they not making any capital expenditures? During the fourth quarter, they bought back 800,000 shares of stock at a cost of $481 million. At the end of Q4 2025, we had 338 million shares of our Class A and Class B common stock outstanding. So insane revenue growth, solid operating cash flow. Looks good. Okay. What is this text necessary? Can we put this at the bottom, perhaps? All right, let's look at their balance sheet. $2.5 billion of cash, $1.8 billion of receivables, $4.4 billion of liquid assets, $1.3 billion of current liabilities, debt due within a year. So very solid liquidity, insane cash pile there. Property, plant, and equipment actually went down. I don't know if that's just depreciation. Maybe they sold some. I don't know. Goodwill. They have a lot of goodwill. That's just from acquisitions. $1.5 billion. Intangible assets down. That's probably just amortization. Equity method investments. So they invested in some other companies. When you see equity method investments, these are companies they invested in, but they don't control. If they control the company, they would consolidate it with the financial statements. So with equity investments, the balance account goes up and down based on the underlying profits of the businesses they invest in. So you'll see this account fluctuate up or down depending on those businesses' profits. And the profit or loss of those businesses will flow through into AppLovin's financial statements, into their income statement. Okay, so they had some equity investments. Long-term debt, $3.5 billion, a slight increase year over year. How much is their interest expense? Let's see. All right, interest expense, nothing. All right, they spent $51 million on interest expense, but they had $1.2 billion of operating income. Man, this company's insanely profitable. So their interest expense is consuming roughly 4% of their operating income. That's nothing. Let's see. So for expenses, cost of revenue went up. I mean, that's proportional with revenue. Sales and marketing, they did some big cuts to sales and marketing, down about what? 14 million. Research and development, they cut about 22 million. And general and admin went up by about what? 19 million. Okay, so some cuts in sales and marketing and R&D, and increases in general and admin. Interest expenses actually dropped pretty significantly, but it's insignificant. All right, so very profitable, and they're crushing it. Share count actually went down ever so slightly. Cash flows from operation, almost $4 billion in cash flow for the year ended December 31st, 2025. That's almost a doubling of operating cash flow. Any big variances here? Prepaid expenses. Very solid cash flow growth. Intangible assets, they spent about $28 million during the year. This thing is a cash machine. So they made $4 billion of operating cash flow. They generated about $358 million from investing activities, mostly from the proceeds from a divestiture. So they sold off one of their businesses they maybe invested in. Out of that cash flow, they spent $2.2 billion buying back stock, $392 billion on withholding taxes related to net share settlement. They refinanced some debt, looks like, and no dividends. Okay, so they $2 billion. They spent $2 billion buying back stock to slightly decrease the float. So that's the cost of stock-based compensation, people. That's a lot. Basically, half of their operating cash flow went to keeping the share count the same or slightly decrease it. It's free, bro. It's free. I will. Seems pretty solid. Do they have a guide? Did I miss it? Wow, that's pretty incredible. I mean, I think the chart has gone crazy. Look at this chart. Oh my God. This was a $9 stock. If only I had bought it at $9.72. I'm sure Jeremy did. All right, so that's kind of an earnings coverage for McDonald's, Cisco, and AppLovin. All right, let's do some member-only comments, and then I'm getting out of here. Let's see. OMG, 5.7% increase. Disgusting. That's Amerifats for you. Chick-fil-A does have a loyalty program. What am I doing with my life? I need to sign up for that. Even the price increases on their fast food doesn't keep the Amerifats crazy. At that point, it's in the blood. No self-control. They need the grease. It's true. Doesn't keep the Amerifats away. They just can't resist that sweet sugar, that sugar rush. Oh, those potatoes. Oh, they're so good. The salt. Oh. Why doesn't Warren Buffett have a McDonald's position? Hell, he's not going to let them tank anyway. He's propping them up, bro. He goes there all the time. I got a bunch of gift cards from Chick-fil-A from my relative who works there in sales. Unfortunately, we don't have a location in my area. Send them to me, bro. And how do you not have a Chick-fil-A in your area? That's crazy. California sucks with Chick-fil-A, only some places. That's interesting. Yeah, we have them here. I wish they would open a Chipotle and Chick-fil-A in my town, but I got to drive about 10 minutes to get to Chick-fil-A. I have 2 Chick-fil-A's in town. They're all right. Don't care for their social issues, but food is decent. All the Cheeks that I have taken there likes them. Cheeks love Chick-fil-A. Oh, Chick-fil-A is awesome. It has a very specific demographic that goes there, and I like that demographic. We also have an In-N-Out, but they're overrated. I don't even think we have one here, maybe. They pay well, but you will never see an empty In-N-Out. Always busy, so the higher wages make sense. They average $6 million per location. Wow. And it's private. Chick-fil-A is private, too. Imagine if Chick-fil-A went public. In-N-Out, one of the best and affordable places compared to McDonald's. Not even comparable. Dang it, been wanting In-N-Out. Oh, don't do it, Gil. Gil, it's a private company. I think he wants to go eat there. He wants to indulge in American lard activities. I'm meant to eat it. Oh, In-N-Out is massively overrated. I don't go there. Agreed to disagree, Gil. On that, we agree. I agree about price and value, but their fries suck, and the burgers are just okay. I don't go out of the way for them. Try animal style. What's that? Is that a type of fries? That's what I normally, and then I'm like, not worth the time. Fries, animal style, and I'll eat it. Craving animal fries. Chick-fil-A does have the greatest franchisee program. If you're lucky enough to get picked, I wasn't even hired to work at Chick-fil-A. When I got divorced for the first time and I moved back to the United States, I didn't have a job. I was like living with my parents. So I was trying to find some work to do. And I'm like, oh, maybe I can apply to Chick-fil-A. Maybe I'll go work at Chick-fil-A for a little bit. They didn't even accept my application. I didn't get hired at Chick-fil-A, people. It's very upsetting, okay? I guess I'm not their type. If you're lucky enough to get picked, it's a guaranteed cash cow. Yeah, you got to be like, I don't think I would be selected to operate a Chick-fil-A. I don't have their values necessarily. Might get 2 doubles and you're becoming an Amerifat, dude. If In-N-Out goes public, it will go ballistic. Yeah, probably. I love pretty close to an In-N-Out. Hope Dan doesn't cyber stalk me with his intel. Never thought of well done fries at In-N-Out. I'll do that next time. In-N-Out has good prices compared to McDonald's. McDonald's, it's just so gross. Every time I eat there, I feel like a grease ball. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I got to run to Food Lion after this. I'm going to get some cold medicine. I got my kids tonight. I don't want to be sick and have 2 freaking kids in the house. You also have to be religious to work and own a franchise. Yeah, they would never take me. It's private, so they ask if you believe in a higher power. Maybe I can lie. Maybe I can run a Chick-fil-A franchise. Actually, no. I think I'll just stay as a tax preparer. I like doing taxes. Ultra high margins. How can you fail as a tax preparer? Oh, wait, if you decide to hire employees and get an office, yeah, then you can fail. All right, checking my email here. No emails. Dang. Nobody loves Strongman. I'm heartbroken. Mac sucks. Never go there. The 2 Chick-fil-A's in town are owned by the same person printing tendies. Yeah, literally tendies. You hate Chick-fil-A? What's wrong with you? I love going there. They got a playground, okay? You take the kids, it's $25, and you let them play for like 2 hours with the other kids. It's a great activity during the day. I believe in a higher power. Transmission lines have a higher voltage than I do. That's funny. Yeah, I don't want to do a brick and mortar business. They're just, it's very easy to fail with a brick and mortar business, especially in the digital age. Do we need to have an office? I don't think so. A lot of people don't understand that, though. They're like, oh, you're a CPA and you have a tax business, but you don't have an office? You're not a real CPA firm. Oh, I'm not. I do the exact same things they do. Interesting. I do the exact same things they do. But they spend a lot more money in expenses. They do have some nice looking cheeks working at them sometimes too. Yeah, okay. I mean, mine, not so much, but. Gil goes political with Chick-fil-A. No, chicken is just a lame source of protein. It's a great source of protein. It's cheap. There's nothing wrong with chicken. I eat chicken all the time. And they're polite. My pleasure. It's my pleasure. I do like their French fries, though, and their sauce is pretty good. You don't need a brick and mortar business when you can buy Ulti and get 70% yield. Yeah, why am I doing people's taxes? What am I doing with my life? I can just get 70%, bro. Target has nice cheeks working compared to Walmart. Yeah, well, you know what? I'd rather see busted up people and not pay as much money. I don't spend a lot at Walmart. I maybe spend $120 when I go, and I get a bunch of meats, staples. I love Walmart. And then Food Lion's not bad, and it's a lot closer to where I live. So, but sometimes I got to go to Walmart if I want other stuff. That was a joke, to be clear. Oh, I know. All right, let's watch the stock market open, and then I'm getting out of here. Ooh, AppLovin's now down almost 11%. Cisco's down 8%. All right, let's look at the indices here. VT just chugging along, baby. Beautiful. What about my portfolio? Looking juicy in the pre-market for old daddy. Looking juicy. Yeah, look at this total return chart. Not bad. Dollar cost average, baby. Reinvest. I love the V-bill chart. It just up and to the right. Total return. Steady growth. Hold on, I'm texting somebody. All right, we got about 2 minutes till market open. Probably no Daily Clown report today and no e-begging stream because I have my kids. So I'm focusing on taxes today. I got some new corporate and partnership clients coming in. So it's getting busy, and the deadline is March 15th. So daddy's going to be busy. Oh, but they pay me a lot of money, people. I'm trying to collect some revenue on my tax business. I'm texting somebody I know. I'm like, where's my freaking money? Where's my money? See, you don't charge people up front and they don't pay you. But I only charge people. I always charge people up front unless they're like family or family friends. Usually I charge up front because I don't want to deal with any drama. Sometimes people get pissy when they owe money. It's like, yeah, you didn't pay enough tax throughout the year. What am I supposed to do? Maybe you should have done tax planning with me, a CPA. Nope, they don't do that. They don't do that. It's too expensive to pay for tax planning. That's just too much work, bro. And then they get a huge tax bill at the end of the year. And they're like, oh my God, it's your fault. It's your fault. Okay, you didn't pay your estimated taxes. Don't get mad at me. Sue me, bro. You gonna sue me, bro? Huh? No, but if you have a large tax bill, you can actually set up a payment plan with the IRS. And they'll take care of you. They'll charge you some interest, but you can do a payment plan with the IRS. I can help you with that too. All right. Well, my phone says it's 9:30. Webull says it's 9:29:55. 4, 3, 2, 1. All right. Now the market's open according to Webull. All right. Good start to the day. VT. Are we going to get 150 soon? I hope so. Look at this. Woo. All right. Another delicious day for strongman. All right, people. Let's close this out. Let's see. Your Weeboo is one. Yeah, it is. Webull is a Chinese company. You realize Strongman is a Chinese shill. Yeah, I'm actually 3/4 Chinese. Can't you tell? What do they tell you when you get pissy? What do they tell you when they get pissy? Oh, they just get like, oh, how do I owe this much money? Oh my God. And then they freak out. I mean, some people are reasonable about it. And some people are they just lose their minds. But eventually they calm down and it's like, okay, this is the mistake you made. This is what you need to fix next year. Gil, Strawman actually adores you. I set up payment plans. Why are you setting up payment plans? Are you not paying estimated taxes throughout the year? You should be paying estimated. You know, if you set up payment plans, you're paying interest, dude. Well, why don't you talk to a CPA? Maybe a CPA can do your taxes and help you calculate estimated tax payments. Wake up, Alan. Printing VXUSs. Oh, yeah, baby. All right, guys, that's it. Like, subscribe. Consider joining as a member to support the channel. Also, consider booking a free, and I mean free, 30-minute tax consultation. I am a certified public accountant and would gladly do your business and or personal taxes any state in the United States. You can talk to me for free. I give you upfront fixed quotes, and I'll do your taxes like a boss. You can book a free 30-minute consultation in the pinned comment below. Also in the pinned comment below is another link, the second link. The second link takes you to a link tree. On that link tree are all of my services. Sponsored videos, my free Discord, my book, Stop Being a Broke Loser on Amazon, my tax business presentation, my consulting link. It's all there in the pinned comment. Click the first link, book a free tax consultation. Click the second link, check out all my services. Send me lots of money, and you guys have a wonderful, delicious day. Oh, Alan's in the house. Look. I just wanted to skip most of this. Good morning, Alan. He was here the whole time. All right, guys. I'll see you at market close. Cheers.